I see software developer candidates make this mistake over and over again during the interview process, and it's completely avoidable. My name is Will Elliott. I'm a software engineering manager leading a team of 7 developers, and I have interviewed handfuls of candidates over the years. It's a very easy mistake to avoid, and once you're aware of it, you can better prepare yourself for your interviews. This mistake isn't only something that junior developers make either. I've seen developers with 30 years of experience make this exact same mistake. The mistake is padding your resume. A lot of people pad their resumes for a handful of reasons, like trying to hit all the different buzzwords a resume scanner might be looking for, showing depth of knowledge on various languages and frameworks, and filling up empty space. You might be thinking this is a very common thing to do, and there's no way that this is the biggest mistake you can make during the interview process. Well, let me explain why this is such a big mistake. Firstly, anything that you put in your resume is fair game for the interviewer to ask you about, to see if you really know what you're claiming to be an expert on or have relevant experience in. Say, for example, you made a quick Python script in college class 5 years ago, and you put Python down in your skills section of your resume. You better be prepared to answer technical questions on the language, or give a good explanation on why that script makes you a good candidate for the open role. I've had people claim to know a handful of different programming languages on the resume, and when pushed on it, they might have played around with it after watching a couple of tutorials, or have recently only started the process of using that programming language. For example, it's not a good look when you say you have web development experience on your resume, but then when I push you on it, you say you've only set up an Apache server to push up local HTML files. Getting exposed like this makes the interviewer lose a lot of confidence in your abilities and puts doubt on the other items you put on your resume. In a 30-minute or 1-hour interview, it's almost impossible to come back from a major misstep like that. The lesson here is that you should only keep items on your resume that you feel confident enough to speak intelligently on and have relevant experience in. As a hiring manager, I don't care that you can code in 10 different languages. I'm hiring you to program in one language. I'd rather see you present that you're an expert in XYZ programming language and have ABC experiences with said language. This will lead to much more constructive discussions during the interview and will avoid potentially awkward questions about your 1-week explorations with JavaScript, for example. Now that you know the mistake to avoid, how should you really be building your resume and preparing for your interview? It is okay to have a general purpose resume, and that can be reused if you're rapidly firing out applications. But if you really want to stand out, you can leverage that generic resume as a foundation and refactor it to be tailored for specific job descriptions that you're applying for. This is actually quite easy to do if you actually read the job description that you're applying for. Look at the key responsibilities of the role and give examples of experiences you've had either professionally or academically to show that you already know who the tasks that they need to have done, or you have the solid potential to do so. Look specifically for programming languages, frameworks, product types, and business units for the role, and make sure that you're able to display competency of these requirements. Next, make sure that any skills you put on your resume are items that you feel comfortable answering questions on and have a conversation about. A good rule of thumb is if you don't actively use it anymore, it's probably a good idea to delete it from your resume. Your resume should be much more focused now. With this in place, you can sufficiently prepare for your interview. To prepare, I would print out both the job description of the open position and your resume, and then see how you can tie the expectations from the job back to your resume experiences and skills. At the end of the day, you're trying to sell yourself to the interviewers that you're the best position candidate to successfully complete the work required of the open position, not to show that you can program a million programming languages and have the experiences with every RDBMS on the planet. If you spend 5 to 10 minutes auditing your resume and cleaning up old unnecessary additions, you can completely avoid this mistake. And as an added benefit, you can make your resume much more clear and concise. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video and would like similar content in the future. See you in the next one.